Okay, so I'm gonna show you the current state of the country. Let's say I drew. Let's say that's the U.S. Right? That whole circle is the U.S. What I'm gonna show you is, for one, let's say you got a teacher. Teacher. Now the teacher is given limited information that can range from history, false history, that is gonna keep you from being aware of the whole entire planet and what's been occurring. So they'll give you false limited history. What they'll also provide for you is bullshit basic like information. So bullshit information that does not help you birth new fields. So you're given bullshit information, right? And then what happens is you have another side. You have the casters, and puppets that make dirty money. And what those spellcasters and puppets, so what they do to make some dirty money is they're paid to give you toxic behaviors that will then impact yourself and those in your direct space and will cause your self-destruction, will cause you to get into horrible situations. That's the spellcasters right here. That's them, spellcasters. So you not only have to deal with them giving you limited false ass information that you're not really interested in, your soul's not interested in it because your soul subconsciously knows it's bullshit. You're not giving me genuine, useful information to use in this direct space to solve genuine problems. You're not doing that. So, and by the way, those teachers in their free time, they're doing all sorts of evil, corrupt garbage, digesting visual and auditory spells from the spellcasters, like BDSM bullshit, also the toxic bullshit that really does not solve anything and just keeps them at a carnal state of existence. If you know about your chakras, when you go to the root chakra, look into root chakra and you'll find out, they're at the lowest level. And so these are the underdeveloped buffoons that think that they're quote unquote teachers. But guess what? You're a student and teacher your entire life. That does not change. You're always a student and teacher. And so, middle fingers to these little clowns right here, these little clowns. That's why Clyde has no respect for quote unquote teachers that are in that field, because that field is to be reformed. So yeah, we're definitely going for that. So aside from the spellcasters and puppets, and let's erase the spellcasters, you already know about that. We're gonna now also put you have undeveloped souls occupying legal positions. Underdeveloped souls. Legal positions. So those are the souls that manifest in different humanoid bodies, and so depending on the humanoid body that they manifested in, they don't know it's the trap that has been laid out for every single humanoid species to pretty much fight each other and do all sorts of BS. But you're not even the body. You're using the body. You're supposed to navigate and use the body responsibly, but you're not the body. So somebody that's, for example, an officer, they might make him join a Mason group, or they might make him join something that's going to make him have a limited perspective, a limited view towards other humanoid species. And so what's going to happen is when that entity is told to transgress, secretly, because it's not in the open. There's codes, there's stuff you can't talk about. So what is that officer gonna do? That officer is going to attack. And also, some of the underdeveloped souls that enter the officer field are also pieces of trash that are just exercising BDSM BS because they want to feel as though they have power, and that's not genuine power. You preying on someone that is relying on you is not power, and shame on the females that even put themselves in horrible situations like that. Middle fingers. And Cloudy has experience from many souls who have talked on the topic and know the reality, what's the problem that is to be resolved in this age of Aquarius. So again, the police field is one field that if you are not a righteous soul and you don't have at least 10,000 years worth of knowledge and awareness, you're not responsible enough, you're not entering that field, okay? You gotta learn about genetics, you gotta learn about history, you got a lot to learn about before you can become an officer and put that badge on. Okay, you want to resolve the genuine problem? We're talking about the genuine problem. So there's that. Now, aside from the officer, because one's not even talking about the judges yet. We're not talking about the guidance counselor, the quote unquote guidance counselors. We're not even talking about them just yet. We're going to talk about that later. But we just covered the officers. We're gonna go over to the politicians, right? Now, the whole point of politicians is to chip away at your constitution. Never mind. Cloudy just wrote it really fast. Let's just write it well for you. Okay. So the point is to chip away at your constitution. That's really what it is. They set up fake situations like, oh, school shootings and all this other stuff. When they're the ones that create the mental instability on the planet. You know, these certain energetic parasites that stay there in quote unquote secret societies are not that secret anymore. And all those tries to discuss energetic parasites are to get legally sieged starting in the US mountain pot in this age of Aquarius. So the reason we're talking about these politicians is because those energetic parasites hiding in these certain that are literal energetic parasites hiding in a specific continent send these quote unquote politicians over here to chip away at the Constitution. If the quote unquote patriots left Europe for a reason and they left to go and do it, even though, you know, they all had toxic thought forms, but they couldn't even stand the toxic thought forms that was over there in quote unquote Europe. Every single time these entities are just bringing about more toxic thought forms and calling it quote unquote religion, and out here just fighting, doing all sorts of BS. You're not even about what you write. So how are you doing that? It just shows you the listener. It just shows you the BS. Okay, so stop identifying with illusionary garbage that now gets legally sieged, and that goes into a whole other topic about a lot of words, spell words being abolished starting in the U.S. mountain pot in this age of Aquarius. But Claudia's talking to you about these politicians right here because day in and day out, they're not generally solving anything. They're not generally, they're trying to keep it. No, they're not trying to keep control. They're trying to chip away at your constitution, and they're trying to just carry out agendas. And so that's not being allowed any further. That's why us righteous souls are entering the politician field. We're entering Congress. We're entering all this to what? To point out who are the trash discussing energetic parasites that are to get legally sieged in this age of Aquarius, because we have some infiltrators from Europe that came over here to the US. And remember, not a single humanoid species is to blame. All developing souls are innocent, and the only time they are to blame is if a developing soul becomes corrupted and becomes a corrupted soul. At that point, you gotta trace the toxic thought forms, who is promoting those toxic thought forms for dirty trick knowledge money, and trash, corrupt business model schemes now being factually checked and legally sieged. Let's be specific here who we're looking at. We're looking at the spellcasting energetic parasites that come from Khazaria. And there's a lot to talk about in the course lessons, so DM for the course lessons so that you, the listener, the developing soul, can become more aware and can become a responsible co-creator in your direct space in this age of Aquarius. To throw all sorts of trash trick knowledge that is to get legally sieged in this age of Aquarius. Remember, lovelies, you have to comprehend what is genuine knowledge versus trick knowledge. Go find that video talk on the page, or just go to the course lesson Cloudy has, because one's not going to explain what is genuine knowledge versus trick knowledge right now. Just know that all that disgusting trick knowledge garbage is getting legally sieged in this age of Aquarius. Now you're more aware. So punk ass politicians, we got punk ass politicians. You know, that's one side of it. Now let's swipe this. So remember, while the politicians are sweeping away, you know, and they never have your best interest in mind. Just by the way, they never do. So don't believe any, illusionary university bullshit because you're in a little wave. You think you're in university, so you're gonna limit yourself. Bitch, universities are it comes from fucking universe, bitch. So what are you actually learning? If you don't see the motherfucking trap, you don't see the business model. You need to shut the fuck up. Especially if you're new. If you're a new soul, you're developing. Do yourself the favor and recognize what's being discussed here, so that you don't end up in a trap and you can protect your mind and also protect those in your direct space. With that said, let's talk about the disgusting parasites that make man-made diseases. So, parasite that make man-made diseases. Now, those parasites that make man-made diseases, those bastards are connected with the quote-unquote secret society. It's not that fucking secret, though. We know exactly who's the parasites in a specific continent that is to get legally sieged, starting in the U.S. mountain pot in this age of Aquarius. That's why certain parasites are so scared of the U.S. mountain pot, because that's where righteous souls start recognizing why they manifested on the planet in this age of Aquarius. So, to you, the viewer, to you, the listener, when you take a glance at the U.S., be